The following is a Productions original series.
Hello and welcome to Walk and Roll Live. I'm Doug Vincent along with Addie Rich. We are a podcast dedicated to giving a voice to the disability community. We do that by having those with a disability on to tell their stories and the organizations that provide programs, services, and support to the community on to share what they do. I'm a polio survivor, crutch and brace user for years and years and years until about 20 years ago. And then I transitioned into the wheelchair, and I'm doing that pretty much all the time now. So, Eddie, what's your story?
I showed up with cerebral palsy and ambulated by myself, wobbly, scared people around me for a long time. Now as I've aged, I've used a walker and transitioning into the wheelchair, easing it into my lifestyle.
Yeah, absolutely. That's the best way. So, good week? Anything exciting? Yeah.
We went to the mountains and we cleaned out the camper, and you never realize how much crap you put in one little space until you got to clean it out. Got the new tenants settled in there, and then came back and had a day of, house chores, how that goes. But it was beautiful up there, chilly, but really pretty.
How long are you? How long are your guests going to be in your cabin?
Hopefully a long time.
Oh, really?
Yeah, they would like to stay, so we're like, okay, go ahead right now. I'll let you help us pay it off anytime.
Yeah. Very nice. Very nice.
So yeah, it'll be fun.
Nothing really. Well, I got a new computer.
What about you?
Got a new computer.
Oh, you got your new computer?
Yeah. I don't think I've mentioned it much here, but and we've hidden it pretty well. I've had some issues, and I knew this, a couple of months ago, or maybe even more. I started thinking about it. You know how you always can kind of sense when your computer's starting to get a little wacky sometimes and wonky. And
computers have like dog ears.
Yeah. So luckily I had been looking, and then we had a particularly tough time trying to get the show produced a couple of weeks ago. And I just went, and the one I had been looking at, seriously, I said, okay, do it. Put it in the cart. Do it. And then they said, okay, well, we put it together based on your order, so it'll be here on March 18th. And I'm like, what? So I didn't, and I wasn't looking for anything crazy. So I thought maybe they're just managing,
your
a person's expectations. Yeah. So sure enough, within 3 or 4 days, it's about to ship out. And so here came over the weekend. It was pretty seamless getting it switched over. So
nice.
Yeah. So, and you notice we have not had any issues so far. I haven't frozen up haven't had to restart anything or anything like that.
No, can you hear me? Can you hear me?
Yeah,
Can you hear me?
It seemed like there was one other thing, but no big deal. I did get to see the granddaughter yesterday. Yeah, which was fun. And there was one little cable that we needed. And this is the first time, this is a milestone, is mom and dad took off to go get this cable at the local store. And they asked her, you want to stay? And she's like, yeah. And I'm fully prepared, for like 2 seconds after they walk out there. When are they going to be back? When are they? It never came up again. We just have fun doing some Legos and all that good stuff. So we had a good time. That, because she's 6, just had her 6th birthday.
Okay.
Yeah.
So she knows you're not trying to kidnap her.
Right. Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah. God. I mean, for years, I'd go over to her grandmother, watched her, and literally she could walk in the house to go get something and was going to be back in 20 seconds, and she'd walk over to the door. Grandma, are you coming out? Where are you? She'll be back in 20 seconds. Settle down.
Right?
Oh, gosh. Oh, that's it.
Well, congratulations, Grandpa. You passed.
I know. Well, so to me, that now this opens the horizon to, getting to take her on little excursions. I can pick her up and take her for yoga. We can just do things.
Exactly.
I can have that one-on-one time.
Nice.
So that'll be fun.
Grandpa's cool too.
I want to thank Lisa Cox for coming on last week from the land down under.
Yeah.
I couldn't help myself any longer. You know how hard it was not to say that to her.
I know.
Or to say crikey.
Chomping at the bit for the kids to
I know the Australians love that. But yeah, I thought now they had to come out now. So yeah, Lisa Cox, who is somebody in the media field, was before her. I don't even want to say injuries. It was more of a. I don't know how to describe it. Was it a
catastrophic series of events?
Yeah,
because it was her body like shutting down and having.
I don't know if and I struggle with that sometimes. With different guests, because it's not an injury. Sometimes it's a disease that causes these issues, or it's just some chronic thing that happens with an immune system, autoimmune system. It's just so many different things.
A body revolt. Yeah. It's a body revolt.
She really seemed like she definitely went through a body revolt. And she
on the bounty.
And then she kind of used that experience now in the field that she was already working in to advocate for our community and kind of rewrite the narrative that there is, and at least attempt to, rewrite the narrative that the way we're displayed in media. So more power to her. So looking forward to hearing more from her. And today, speaking of a whole other realm, adaptive sports. There's an organization for, I guess, just the last couple of years that has put together this wheelchair football league, and they're from different cities. Most of them, I would hesitate to say all of them, have NFL, they're cities with NFL teams, and they're affiliated with those teams. Yeah,
except the one Alabama, the Alabama Hammers.
So we've had a number of the players from one of the local teams here on the show. I think we've had at least 5 or 6 on the show, and we'll talk about them in the interview a little bit. But so we've got the head coach on today, Eric Hall, and we're going to spend some time with him and find out a little more about him, how he found his way to be a head coach of a wheelchair football team, and what a wheelchair football team entails, and all of those good things. I'm looking forward to the interview.
Yeah, awesome.
Yeah, good deal. So
good deal.
Stand by. We'll be right back. We're going to check out Agyar Professional Training. And next, Eric Hall.
At Agyar Professional Training, we know that your greatest asset is your team. Investing in their development, knowledge, and happiness is essential for your business's success and growth. To achieve new heights, it's important to hire intelligent, talented individuals and empower them to excel in their areas of strength and passion. Agyar is committed to transforming your employees into happier, more productive, and fulfilled individuals. When your team thrives, your business prospers. Wise leaders understand that providing team members with opportunities to shine in their strengths unlocks untapped potential. Elevate your team with Agyar Professional Training and witness the growth of your business.
From the Agyar Professional Training Studios, you're listening to Walk and Roll Live, Disability Stories.
Don't put me on a pedestal, I'm not here to inspire. I've got my flaws, my highs, my lows, my own heart's fire. I laugh, I cry, I break, I'm in just like anyone. I'm not your symbol of courage, I'm just me, done.
Welcome back to Walk and Roll Live. Let's start with an introduction of our guest. We gave you a little tease. Eric Hall, he's the head coach of the Los Angeles Chargers wheelchair football team. We'll let you kind of give yourself a little bit of a short bio before we get into the interrogation.
I like how you call it an interrogation. No, hello, everybody. My name is Eric Hall. I am the head coach of the LA Chargers wheelchair football team. We just finished our inaugural season this past season. So pretty much we are a wheelchair football team. And we play football. We're affiliated with Move United as well as the NFL Salute to Service grant, which has allowed our veterans and just those in wheelchairs or wheelchair sports participants to play football with helmets and hitting and contact. And I love it. It's been a great time. So Doug, Addie, thank you for having me on. Appreciate it.
Yeah. And I just got a chance to really see it, because it and I'm sure our listeners are kind of going through this now. They're trying to visualize what wheelchair football would look like, right? And so maybe YouTube it so you kind of get an idea. But it kind of, let me give you a little background, because we've had quite a few of the players on the show already. I'll go down the list here. But it started when I met Richard Starts from Rolling Start. We went to the Triumph Foundation. I guess there were some tryouts there, right? They had their sports festival. I don't know if you were there
correct.
that day. Were you there that day? Because I didn't meet you that day. Yeah.
I don't think we had a chance to meet that day, but I was there. Yes, I is. Shout out to Triumph as well. Thank you.
Yeah, absolutely. And so Richard was there and wanted to try it out. So he came out for tryouts. He had tryouts. He made the team along with Rebecca, who you know very well, and Raj and Zach and Eddie. They've all been on the show. I think I didn't leave anybody out, but so it just kind of grew from there. Got to know these guys, had them on the show, and then I met Eric at a Christmas party that the club had. So wanted to get him on and get his take on the whole thing. And you're coming up on tryouts again, right?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. So we haven't got the date finalized, but we'll begin practice next month, April. And then tryouts should follow kind of May, June.
Yeah.
And then we'll hopefully have our roster solidified. Our first tournament should be around August and September. And then hopefully this time we're out there competing for a Super Bowl. That's the goal.
Yeah. So tell us a little bit about your first experience, because you guys traveled quite a bit, went to some tournaments. Kind of got your baby steps in.
Yeah. So definitely on the travel side and that first tournament experience, it was new for myself and a lot of members of our team. Some have traveled individually to compete, but this was the first kind of team situation. So obviously anyone with a disability that's ever had to take a flight or anything knows kind of the nuances, I guess, that goes with that. And sometimes, what's the word? Just, lack of knowledge and understanding of accessibility and what's needed to just give people, a little bit of comfort and ease in traveling, which can always be stressful. So, kind of jumping ahead, during that time, it was very eye-opening to me because I'm not a wheelchair user per se, but I did use the wheelchair to kind of get through the airport and excursion, and to have that perspective of my athletes while traveling, it definitely was very eye-opening to me for someone that has always felt like an avid kid and someone that is, pushing it forward and speaking up, but to really see it from that perspective and understand some of the looks, the glares, the rudeness of people, the airline sometimes and the staff and just how that comes off. It was, it's something I really wish everyone was able to experience. Yeah. And I think the attitudes would change. However, it was an awesome experience to say that, we flew as a team. We were able to go out. We finally were able to see a football game on the field. And that's a whole thing all in itself. And I can tell you all about that first game. I don't know how much you've heard. But that first tournament was definitely special. It was eye-opening for myself and our team and just our whole organization. And we really grew after that first day of taking those butt whippings and different things. We really found it in ourselves. We found it just in our hearts, and we grew together as a team there in that first tournament. And from then, it's just been all uphill. It's just been going, and it's been amazing. And I'm really excited to see what year 2 brings. And definitely, our first tournament this year is going to be a lot different moving forward. So, definitely excited, Doug.
Well, it sounds like that bonding or that traveling was a bonding thing, really. It turned out to be a real positive.
Yes. Sometimes you have to go through, I guess, hardships or, the things that are going to make you closer, the things that you struggle with and the experiences that you have. So it was definitely a bonding experience, man. I think we got in trouble a couple of times, in the airport and on the plane just because of how loud and how much of a good time we were having.
What the heck?
I believe that they left the speaker at home the first time, which was probably a good thing because if we had music added to it, we would have definitely called the ruckus. So
we would have been in big trouble.
Like you were talking about, when you're somebody disabled and you're traveling on your own, that's one thing. I took a cruise and had to fly to Miami last year, and that was the most apprehensive part of the whole trip. That's leading up to it was just worrying about the flights, because there was, especially coming home, I think there was a layover. But the ship didn't bother me. I'd never done a ship before. I've flown before, but even I was still apprehensive about that. How are people going to be able to help me. I think I had come a ways in my mobility where I was going to need more help.
Right.
And I'm sure you guys experienced that.
Help me help you.
Yes.
And don't break my stuff.
And don't break my stuff. But I'm sure you experienced that.
Stuff.
You have some legs of that. I'm sure you ran into some people that you could tell they had it down. And then there are other people that are still kind of fumbling with, how to transfer people into the aisle chair and out of the aisle chair back into their chair and all those things. But some people, you could tell, you feel confident in their arms, if I must say, because you get two people helping you and you just tell that they've done it enough to, they're very confident in the way they do it. And other people are still trying to figure out how to put the belt on you, So, yeah.
No, you move. No, you scoot. No, do this. Put your arm up. Yeah, no, those people, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you're worried about getting dropped.
I learned a lot. Yes. Definitely, without saying too much or putting any organizations or companies down. I think I want to shout out our second airport. I believe that was Chicago, right? That was our, no, excuse me, Minneapolis. I believe was our second tournament. And that airport definitely did help us out. The staff there was amazing. But of those 4 kind of loading, unloading trips, there was definitely 2 times that stick out in my mind where like, whoa, like who's training? who's providing this? Who's like, what is the qualification? Did we just show up today and say, hey, you're now going to learn to do chair transfers and, work an aisle chair.
Day one. Yeah.
Even just moving of the equipment was wild.
And just to defend them to some degree is that, generally they're dealing with one person. You guys were what, 10, 11, 12, something like that.
So 14.
14.
Yeah, your string it's not over.
Even the seasoned veteran must have been, oh my God, what is coming our way?
Yes, no. And, we're everyone's traveling with maybe 2 chairs a piece as well.
Right. Yeah.
So just trying to differentiate what's a sports chair versus what's a day chair. Some have attachable pieces, some are built differently, making sure that we get all the tires back, the coordination of getting those chairs from baggage claim check-in to the plane and back again and making sure they're all in one piece.
Yeah.
So just the equipment part, especially on that massive scale, it's definitely can be trying and something cumbersome for a group, but it's also, I think it was a great experience for those that were there at that time because hopefully moving forward, now they're more comfortable. Now they can assist someone that looks like they're struggling. Now they can say, hey, let's slow it down. Let's speed it up. Let's be cautious. Let's be careful.
Yeah.
We've had you're sitting with pressure for, 7 hours or so on this flight. Let's make sure we're okay. Not transferring these people. We're hitting bumps and things like that. And, just trying to make sure people are as comfortable as possible. So it was quite the experience. Definitely traveling with that large of a group, even for myself, coordinating the equipment, just coordinating with the airport. Shiante, one of our teammates, was able to really handle our logistics. I definitely want to give her a shout out. She made it very easy. She communicated with TSA. That made it
letting everybody know, hey, we're about to bring a parade.
like a super parade. Yeah. But no,
now you should write a letter to every airline and city you're going to and saying, we will volunteer to be the host dummies for your sensitivity
training, right?
Handicap and every other training for credits.
Get some miles out of it.
Right?
Right. No, yeah. I think that's great. You might be on to something.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, there you go. Hey man, sharing is caring. They won't have another experience where it's this many people at one time, more than likely. So, hey.
Yeah. Yes. And if I can, just to anybody listening that works for the airlines and transferring wheelchairs, it's just a piece of equipment. Maybe to you, it's another piece of luggage or whatever. But when, you bring that back to the person that uses it, that's their legs. If you were to take away somebody's legs, and treat them poorly, and then, or not get them back to them in a timely fashion or, act respectful, then, that's what's happening there. These are our legs. Yeah.
Yeah. You're independence.
And I think to your point, Doug, it is eye opening. If you really, if I think we don't understand, those that are ambulatory, that yes, this is, your level of independence, someone in a wheelchair.
Yeah.
This is their legs. This is part of their identity as much as it is yours. So why not treat something with so much care that it returns in the same way, so they're able to use it as how you would want your luggage or your bags handled at the same way. People throw a fuss when your zipper's broken, you know what I mean?
Right. Yeah.
So like what happens when we don't have a brake or, you know, the back piece or just anything, you know, your backrest is missing, spokes are broken. That's now you're impeding someone's ability to move on to their next point. And, you know, and so it's definitely, it's been good, you know, as well to expose people just to the different things, advocate. And just in the last year of being with this team, I've invited anyone that was able to come out. My family's come out, and just to see them kind of change. You know, we've always been open and thought-provoking, but I think just to see how they change, how they approach disability, someone's ability to participate, to live a meaningful, productive life, how they treat that person. Many times when we see someone in a wheelchair, we want to almost baby it down for them, when in fact, no, this is a living, breathing person that has a mind, that's able to do this, and we should give them everything that they're entitled as far as our respect, and not just treat them as anything less than. So that's been one of the things that I guess has been untold and most beneficial, has been the fact that, you know, others have kind of benefited from just this whole coaching experience that I've been on.
I was just about to say, I'm beginning to see why you're the coach.
Yeah.
You know,
right.
Yeah, that's awesome.
No, I was like, we got to rewind the times because we got to figure out how you got here, but it's apparent why you're here.
Yeah, definitely want to.
Like, wait, back up the.
Definitely want to circle back. Yeah. You know, one thing I got to kind of apologize. Usually when I bring our guests on, you know, we talk about, and we do this in the open of the show. We introduce ourselves and we talk about what our disabilities are, just so we can kind of give context to the conversation. And we have able-bodied and people, how are we supposed to say it now? People with a disability, people without a disability. Yeah. So hopefully I got it right there.
People's first language.
Exactly. So how do you identify? Are you a person with or without a disability?
So in the legal definition of it, I do not identify as a person with a disability. Kind of on my, you know, personal growth and educational background, I realize most of us do have some form of a disability. Right. So for those that are visually impaired, I am wearing glasses right now. So if I take these glasses off, I do not see clearly or sharply, and it is not advisable for me to drive without them. So you kind of say I'm visually impaired in that sense. Yeah.
And that's the thing with all disabilities, you know, it's a whole spectrum within every disability. So absolutely. Yes. But just wanted to make sure everybody knew. And then, I'd like to circle back and see, you know, a bit of what your background, I imagine you're a sports guy, first of all, right? When you were growing up.
Yes. 100% a sports guy. Actually, I shouldn't say 100% because when I was growing up, I disliked playing sports. So that's my little secret.
Yeah.
However, my dad signed us up, Recreation Park, City of Gardena. We played basketball, football, baseball. I disliked running. I had asthma. I just wasn't that good. However, through his perseverance of making sure that he signed me up every year, I seemed to really start to kind of come into my own. Never really liked basketball, but I got decent at it. Fell in love with baseball. He was coaching me. I think I just had a really good time playing baseball. I was able to kind of teach myself how to play that. And then I played flag football because at this time, not like how it is now, there was weight limits designed for Pop Warner. So I've always been on the larger spectrum of the weight. So I would have either played up with the 14-year-olds when I was about 8, or when I got to about 10.
Remember, you're 14. Yeah.
Like, no, I'm just 8 years old. I weigh as much as a 14-year-old. But I was just eager to play, eager to really participate. And I think not playing tackle football for, you know, those younger years in my life led me when I was able to finally try out in high school, where I just really bought all into it. Because looking back, I really probably should have tried to play baseball because that was my favorite sport. That's what I was probably the best at, I felt. But football presented this new challenge, and you know, I always had heard about the game, and I've always watched it, and you know, the Super Bowl, and hearing my dad talk about him playing in high school and just the amazingness of it, and you know, having a Letterman jacket. It was just all these things that just really made me excited. So I mean, I remember my first JV practice is still an 8th grader, and all of my friends, we walked from Fleming Middle School, and it was the worst day ever. I will never forget. It was hot. We were getting yelled at. We were doing push-ups and sit-ups and squats and pulled out a line and ran and up downs.
Is that
and
what they call Hell Week? Right?
This was the first day of practice. This wasn't even Hell Week yet, Doug. Like,
it was Hell Week all in one day.
Sure? This was Hell Day. Yes. Yeah. Like, are you sure you want to do this? And, you know, you woke up the next morning sore, and we all stood around in a circle. And later on that practice, most of the people that were in that circle weren't at practice.
Really?
And I guess it was kind of from there, because all of a sudden, after that first day, it just got so much easier. It just became something that was definitely a part of my life, and I enjoyed it. I was blessed to have some amazing coaches, especially during my youth time. You know, Coach Don, who's my offensive line coach, Coach Doug, Coach Theron. These were my first coaches in 9th grade, and they really built a foundation of, one, understanding what it takes to be a football player, a smart football player, a tough football player, but they were building the foundations of just being a decent human being, a good man. And those are the things that I believe allowed me to have the career that I had in football. You know, I played all 4 years in varsity. During that time, I actually won most valuable player my senior year. This is playing center. So anyone that doesn't know what a center is, that's the person that gives the ball to the quarterback to start the play. And usually now you'll never see anyone but a quarterback win, you know, the most coveted award or anything like that. So I've always kind of held on to that MVP, because it let me know that all those years when I was grinding and just listening to my coaches and putting in the effort, and when we finally got to my senior year, it was so different, because we just didn't have to take the same direction and things like that. We were taking it upon ourselves. And the fact that, you know, my team recognized me as the leader, when all I felt was I was just doing my job. I've always felt like I just wanted to do my job, do a good job, not get yelled at, and, you know, just keep playing. But it was a really good, you know, high school experience. And then from there, so I'm undersized, even though I was bigger than all the 14-year-olds at 9. I'm only 6 foot. So as far as being a Division I offensive lineman, you don't pass the eyeball test. So I went to LA Harbor College. And this was, you know, timing is one of those things, and you reflect on things and you never realize at the moment. But this was one of the best times of my life. I always talk to some of my teammates now, and we just talk about how much fun we had at, you know, 2 years of playing junior college football. And, you know, we were just, the first year we lost, but our offense was number 2 in the state. Then the next year we got a defense that matched our offense, and we were just having so much fun beating on teams. But just the culture of the team, just the connectivity. Like I said, I talk to many of those guys still now, and I reflect on it. Yes, high school was great. High school was amazing. And my time at Western New Mexico was great. But really that time at junior college is what solidified me, because we were all going through the same struggle. We knew that junior college was just this stepping stone so that we can get out there, get our degrees, get to where we're trying to play, continue our playing careers. And I'm really so thankful, you know, to Coach Brett Peabody, Coach Wilder, my offensive line coach, and just all their staff as well, for really what they gave us over those 2 years. One person I do want to shout out, he's no longer living, is Coach George Swade, who, you know, he was there. He would always make a face. And the second year we needed a head coach. Our head coach had got fired or let go. And he stepped up. I believe he was already in his later 70s at this point. And he just stepped up, stepped into our role, and just encouraged and embraced us. And I used to love going to his class on Fridays, because he would talk about like playing football in Pennsylvania and like the 40s or the 50s or whatever he's talking about, like full body blocks and all this stuff. So like it was cool, the fact that like he was able to still like hold on to this old school mentality and still like embrace us, as, you know, this is later 2000s, 2009. So it was just great to really be around that culture that I think, you know, transitioning to a Division II Western New Mexico University out in Silver City, I was able to kind of hold on to that mentality. But at the same time, while at Harbor College, I realized how much it was going to depend on me being a good student to just make it to where I needed to be. Because while we all want to think we're going to the NFL, we're going to do this forever, it's not, you know. Knowing that I was 6 foot, I think when I was a senior, I was like 268 because I just couldn't keep on the weight. I went down from like 290, 268. But during that time in Harvard College, I actually got like a 3.84 like my first semester. And I was kind of like, I'm not gonna say I wasn't trying, but I kind of just did it while playing football, while doing all these things. So I said, oh wow, I could be a great student and do these things. So I was blessed to go to Western New Mexico University, which is a Division II, and I really didn't realize it until like I was graduating that you hear about Division I sports, you think that that's where you want to go. No, it's really where you can get the best education. So there, all my professors had PhDs. I was able to, travel the country, just see different things. It was eye-opening being a kid coming from Los Angeles to a small town where, there's 3,000 people and everyone kind of knows each other. And it was really beneficial to my growth.
Yeah.
So yeah, as far as, sports, that's kind of my sports background. And, it's kind of led to later in life. And I'm lucky to work in sports because, I have my undergraduate in psychology and sociology. And I moved kind of into the educational world. I thought I was going to be a teacher. However, I realized I hate the classroom.
Mm-hmm.
It's just not for me. But I love everything else there is that goes with teaching, being a mentor, being there, providing services to families, be able to give knowledge to the next generation. So I kind of made this shift over to the city of Los Angeles. Is kind of where I got my start and was able to really merge like community and sports. And then one thing kind of led to another, and then I happened to become the referee for the Wheelchair Football League. Just kind of looking for.
I was wondering about that connection too. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. If I'm kind of jumping ahead, but
that's right. So after you graduated, so you got into like the recreation department?
So after I graduated, I went back to Norbonne High School.
Okay.
There I was just on the course of, being a paraprofessional. Then I became a substitute teacher. Then I was going to get my dual credential, become an administrator as well as a teacher.
Gotcha. Any coaching in there?
There was thoughts of being a coach as well.
Yeah.
So definitely Norbonne was on the up and up during this time. I just knew, to kind of do it in LA Unified is different than most private schools around and different things. So I knew that I didn't necessarily want to be stuck in elementary or in education. Mm-hmm. So that's why I kind of switched over, and I was lucky to get into recreation.
Okay.
And kind of just, merge the two of what I was doing and really move it along. And it's been beneficial.
And what you enjoyed doing too, right?
Yes.
Sounds like,
yes. Yeah. Love it.
Awesome. So then at what point did the opportunity to get involved with the wheelchair football team come about?
Oh yeah. So kind of like I mentioned, I was working in recreation, but I had saw a posting about a wheelchair football league. Move United was out there and they were looking for coaches, officials, and different things. I applied to be a coach with one of the teams that was originally established here in Los Angeles. Unfortunately, that didn't happen. However, they were looking for officials. So I was like, hey, I'll sign up. I'll do it. And I ended up going to the very first tournament out in Scottsdale, Arizona, helping officiate that. And I stayed in contact after I was on their rules committee for the year. So I just kind of stayed in the know and everything like that. And it just so happened that now they wanted an expansion team with the Chargers. So I was able to connect with Move United. And we actually tried to look for some other, organizations that were willing to kind of take on this task, but I don't think anyone was willing. It was something new. Not many people know football, let alone wheelchair football.
Yeah.
And it's definitely a time-consuming venture, but I wanted to do it. I wanted to coach. I just wanted to be around. I really wanted to grow into something, and now you're allowing me the opportunity to grow something. So I was just all in and bought into it, and lo and behold, we started. Was that October of 2023? Started trying to promote and everything, and I believe we tried to run one tryout where we only got like 2 or 3 signups, but we just kept pushing, and I was able to speak with Triumph and Andrew over there, who I was actually connected through kind of through my work with the city, and we hosted that tryout that you spoke of at the beginning, and that brought in a good portion of our team and some of our members, and from there it's just kind of been growing word of mouth, and before you know it, we were so big, and we had our tryouts, and we were traveling. It just kind of picked up steam. It's been awesome.
I thought it had been around longer. So it really, this has just come together in the last, not even 2 years.
Yes, no, this is kind of year 2 for us Chargers.
What's the role of the NFL teams?
So they just provide the licensing. I'm pretty sure kind of above, my pay grade. There is some communications that are going on, but it's more so just to have the market be able to use their logos. From what's been explained to me, I know that of the 14 teams, I think there are 13 that have NFL teams affiliations. One that does not. That's the Birmingham Hammers.
Gotcha. So do they utilize the opportunities for, because I know NFL is, into the DEI and all that inclusivity. So are they using that opportunity to kind of, show that what our population is capable of?
I think they're using the opportunity. Can more be done? Yes.
Yeah.
But they're definitely using the opportunity. I did see a Super Bowl ad that had some wheelchair football players. I believe that was the Tampa Bay wheelchair football team, if I'm not mistaken. So I definitely know that there is traction and thoughts of it. And as the sport kind of grows and the NFL does pick it up, and hopefully, you have some players that kind of advocate more and more for it.
Yeah.
It does become kind of a forefront in what they can do to, help promote inclusivity and diversity, and just play accessibility in some of your aging stadiums.
Yeah, absolutely. Oh gosh, don't get me started. So you have a staff. You alluded to a couple other guys. So you have a coaching staff. Good deal.
We have a coaching staff. So we have Miss Vilma Martinez, who serves many hats. That's our dietitian, our logistics person, our emotional support person. She fills it in. We have Gil Sr., who is our mechanic, our chief mechanic. He makes it happen. It's hard to out there trying to coach and change flat tires at the same time. So I really appreciate his efforts and help. And then, of course, my wife's out there just supporting, helping me do some behind the scenes things, washing jerseys and just some of those important things I got to get done. So it's
the glamorous stuff.
It's been beautiful. All the glamorous stuff. Yeah. And then, just the support of my family as well. My mom, my dad are really helpful. They come out to practice. They support. My mom's out there buying waters, making sure everything's cold. They've really kind of taken an interest into it. So it's been good, just those ones that are just willing to help.
Yeah. So
sports parents. Where are the orange slices? The orange slices and cold
the orange slices and the grapes.
That's right.
Yeah. So I did Teach for America in Atlanta, and so I taught in Vine City. I don't know if you know where that is here in Atlanta, but it's not the nicest part of town. Okay. I did Teach for America, but anyway, back here in the South, like football's a huge thing, but that also is like a huge thing to the community. And I love listening to your part of the story about how much they shaped you, because that was something that was super important to me when I was teaching. I don't have any kids, and I would go to the games after work, and there was a bunch of us that would go and kind of be the parents for kids that didn't have parents and screaming our heads off and embarrassing them on purpose. But the coaching stuff is a huge father figures and things for people who don't have it, or, any kind of like community kind of lane about who you're going to be and how you're going to be responsible, and you're going to go to class and do your homework and, things like that. So I'm not getting out there for football, but I've seen the impact that sports and mentors have.
That's very important, Addie. I mean, that's one of the biggest things that I think football gives away is the mentorship. Even for those that don't have fathers and those that do, it's just seeing different perspectives and attitudes and connecting with those from, just different walks of life. And those that are going to hold you accountable when your parents are at work.
Exactly.
Or to keep signing you up when you don't love it.
Right?
Yes.
You've already written your name down. Yeah.
Yeah. When you were talking about that, I just, that's one of those unsung things I think that parents do, when it's unpopular. And, I dealt with that with my daughter, signing her up for things and she didn't want to do it. It's like, well, that's all fine and well, but, you have to at least complete what we've started here.
Yes.
You have to finish that. If you don't want to go back to it next year, okay, we'll try something else. We tried some things until something really clicked with her and she loved it. But yeah, you got to take all the barbs when I hate this. Suit up, we're going.
Keep talking while you're walking, putting your shoes on.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So do you get those? These are more adults. Do you get the opportunity? Do you think to help people? Because I imagine you're with tryouts and stuff. You have people that are long term, post injury, and others that aren't, and they're still maybe trying to find themselves and what they can do. So is that part of, you think, your responsibilities are too?
I think that's a big part of my responsibility to, help anyone across the journey. Kind of like what Addie said. Yeah. I've always looked at it as, what did my coaches and, team personnel and kind of that community, what did they give me outside of football? So that was, whatever emotional support or just positive encouragement, or even, a good slap on the head without slapping me on the head, and just help me realize some of the stuff. So, you meet all levels of athletes and all levels and walks of their life, or roles of their life. But where, how do you help them along their journey? And it is my responsibility as their coach and as someone they just come across and as a good person to just, help them as much as they can and help them see that it doesn't have to start or end here, and you're worth so much more.
That's awesome.
Awesome.
Super awesome. So I heard you say earlier that you were doing like paraprofessional work and subbing and stuff. So what made you, I don't know, have a soft spot for the community? Or, I mean, obviously, like, you're not disabled in that way. So what made you say, I can handle this? Because sometimes more able-bodied people are more afraid. Like, ooh, that's not I don't want to touch that with a 10-foot pole, or I'm nervous. And then you have people in your life that are just like, whatever, and they can see you for who you are. So have you always been that way, or was it
I've always been this way. Again, I think I was 6. Another story with my dad. So he was a school bus driver, and specifically for Willenberg, which is a special education center. So I've always kind of been exposed to those with disabilities, individuals with disabilities. The first time he took me to work, I was on the bus, and one of our emotionally disturbed students hit me, just slapped me in the head. And I was like, whoa, what happened? And, like, yeah. And I'm like looking around and trying to figure it out. My dad's driving a bus on the freeway, and it's like, oh, okay. And then, after I got to the school, I was exposed to this world where it was just kids like me, whether they communicated different, whether, the cute girl that's going to hit me on the head on the bus. This is the same thing that was going on in my school. And it's kind of always been that way. We've always grown up and been taught that a person is a person because, they're a person. There's mean people, there's terrible people, but there's a lot of good people. So we can't just judge a person or treat someone a certain way. And especially, those that are deserving of just so much more, we need to give it to them. So it's always kind of been geared, I guess, set up for me. I've worked with, I believe it's called Best Buddies in high school, because Norbound High School is a single story. So we had a lot of blind and visually impaired kids there. So just, hey, do you want to walk to class today? Like, here, let me help you out. Kind of going through high school, that was kind of my first job. I did in-home care as well, which is a really good time where I was able to just hang out with, teenagers that had necessarily kind of aged out of their youth programs, but were just cool. And to know them on a personal level was amazing for me, because at the end of the day, we're just in here watching movies, or we're just in here cracking jokes, or we're playing checkers so many times that why do I keep getting beat? So it definitely was able to, be eye-opening.
Yeah.
It was eye-opening. So yeah, I've always kind of been geared kind of towards this line of work, or, this field, and just not looking at anyone other than, hey, are you a nice person or not? Are you a good person or not?
Yeah. Let's play some football and move on.
Let's get out there and play some football.
That's all.
Yeah.
That's awesome, though. I caught that, and I was like, it takes a special person just to keep it moving. I think sometimes it's there's something in you that's spectacular, that just says, I see the soul, and the shell is what it is, and we're moving forward.
It's all those life experiences that you don't know at the time. I think, like you said earlier, and all of a sudden you get to a point in your life and everything just connects, and you were prepared for this.
The kismet of the universal assignment.
So what's the future holds? Got some championships ahead, and
Got some championships ahead, Doug. You know, it's really just uphill from here. Seeing what kind of grows as we grow on a team, get some plays down, start really looking organized. Now, this year, a challenge that, you know, I'm going to bring out as well as challenge my team is let's practice how we play. Let's make sure once we step on the practice field, we're translating that and we're serious out there for our 2 hours so that when we get to the games, we just show we lock in and we clock in and no one's going to beat us, whether they're bigger, stronger, faster.
Yeah.
And, you know, just keep encouraging that positive team environment and making sure to support my guys and girls as much as possible.
Well, you know, I know because I know a lot of the guys or heard the stories, you know, when you guys were going to tournaments and, you know, that first one was a little, you know, disorganized or whatever, but they got it together. And by the end of the season, they had their first win, which I don't think they thought that was even possible at the beginning, you know, but yeah, now they're fired up. You know, I think they're ready for season 2. So good luck with the tryouts and all of that. And let us know what the schedule is. You know, we can get it out on our platform here and let people know if it's at a city near them. They can go check it out. If it's here in Southern California, let us know where we're based out of, and we'll get the word out. And I think we've got one final question for you. Addie, you want to?
Oh,
you want to do
okay.
it?
So I already had almost forgotten.
We ask all of our guests this. This is kind of our closing question.
We're trying out this question.
So try it out. We've been doing it for a while.
Okay.
Doug, was it a support group, Doug? It was a support group.
I actually started it. I asked it here.
Okay, you started.
I asked it here on the podcast first, and then I took it to the wheelchair support group. But I never knew, and you'll understand when you hear the question. I just envisioned in my mind, I was looking for something that would kind of give the able-bodied community an idea of one small little thing that we deal with on a day-to-day basis. And you can take the answer to this question and you can kind of, you know, extrapolate what the rest of our day can be like, you know, in many different situations if you just keep it in mind. So, you know, having said that, go ahead, Addie, and it's turned into some wonderful conversations. But
yeah, right. So how long does it take you to put on your pants, shoes, and socks?
That's it.
Oh my goodness! You know, I was asked this like a couple of months ago while traveling, and I had never even thought about it. It probably takes all of a minute and a half if going slow. Yeah, honestly.
Yeah.
If your house is on fire, you got it even faster.
And I just love it because it started some conversations that have lasted 20 and 30 minutes, and it's turned into, especially with the support groups where, you know, people will get into different techniques. They'll drill down and get into all that and the way they do. And some of the techniques, I'm like, I never could do it that way. And, you know, in some half of the room, it's like the toilet paper. You know, does it, you know, is the paper out on the top or does it come under the bottom? Yeah. You know, and there's two sides to that. And there's the same thing. You know, some people do it in the bed. Some people do it in the chair. I could never do it in the bed. I could never do it in the chair, you know. So it's funny. But the time is quite a span, you know, between, I've heard as short as 30, which I don't, you know, seconds, which I don't believe, you know, and then there's 15. There's some people, I can't do it at all. I have to have my caretaker help me. So you never know what answer you're going to get. But that's, you know, that's one little element of our lives that I think kind of helps us. It bridges that gap, you know, and I didn't know that. It was just a silly question that I came up with. And over time, I've realized that, you know, it's more. It's that kismet again, you know. So
yeah, no, that's been very powerful because one of our players actually asked me that, and you know, I honestly had never thought about it. It's just one of those things, you don't think about until wow, you know, and this is kind of part of it too. So that's awesome that you got people's minds out there working and kind of turning and asking those questions.
You know, I've said here, mine's around 7 minutes, and I time myself before I asked it the first time so I would know. And I wonder if people wonder what takes you so long. You know, right. What is he doing for 7 minutes? But yeah, that's another episode.
Making it happen. But Doug, I just wanted to add as well. So I know the previous question you'd asked me kind of what else is kind of on the pot.
Yeah.
So obviously winning some championships and moving the football team forward. But I'm also looking to start a representation firm as well for your para athletes. So one thing in the space in the last few years, I've been kind of looking at is, marketability and things like that. And I think there's just not enough representation, proper representation for our para athletes and athletes with disabilities. So that is something that kind of moving forward as it grows and the space kind of opens up as well. And some of the exciting things we have coming in the future that I really want to look into and get to going. So
Eric,
just want to put that out there.
Chills, man. That is awesome. All right. Well, now you're a friend of the show. So when you get it going, we'll have you back. You can talk all about that.
Gotcha.
How's that sound?
I'm holding you to it.
All right. Good deal.
All right.
All right. Well, let's out of here. Thank you very much for carving out some time today and joining us on Walk and Roll Live. Appreciate it.
Thank you. Thank you both for having me. You have a good day. You guys take care and go Chargers.
Go Chargers.
I'm a Raider fan. I can't say that.
I'll say it.
Oops. Thanks, Addie. Appreciate you.
Each week on Walk and Roll Live, we share honest and open stories of people living with a disability.
I think it's even worse now because, they give me a roller coaster to run around town in, and I basically am just like trying to find the biggest curb to jump off
Yes.
of.
Right. You're like, I know I can return myself from hard things, so I'm going to.
Hey.
Join us weekly for another powerful episode. Walk and Roll Live, wherever you get your podcasts. Life Limitless. Subscribe now.
To see, and this interview is proof positive that how coaches and the mentors and the people you are surrounded with kind of groom you into the person that you become, whether it be family or friends or coaches in his case. Like, it's just cool to see. Parents, if you want to know that, like life experience as a young person shape the big person you become, he's the perfect story for that, riding the bus with his dad and then having mentors.
And I'm sure everybody, wherever you are in your life right now, there are so many experiences that you didn't know at the time that have shaped you to be able to flourish and thrive in what you're doing now. Hopefully, I know I can say
totally.
That for me.
I mean, in my Plot Twist Society, I always talk about that. I always talk about how the universe conspires for the greatness that's in you. So whether it's putting you in those situations that later will come to pass in a different look or whatever, it gives you threads that show you your path is what I believe. And I think that's so cool because this interview is a testament to that.
Yeah, absolutely. Good dude. Looking forward to some of the things he's got coming up in the future too, and having him come back on and share those things with us.
Positive energy, even through the waves. It definitely it radiates off of him. And like I said to him, even in the interview, like being that person that doesn't say, oh no, this isn't my world, so I'm not even going to touch it, but says, I want to step into this world and make it better for everyone. Yeah. I think that's so awesome. That's a courageous human.
So this is the week. Abilities Expo coming up this week.
This is the week.
So we'll be over there. And I don't know if I mentioned it but I definitely want to make sure that I give them a shout out. We're going to go hang out at Live to Roll's booth for like the first couple of hours on Friday, 10 to noon, help them out. And then we're going to go and kind of check everything else out. Forrest is going with me. Addie couldn't get her private jet fueled up and ready to go.
Next year. Bring your autograph pen, Doug. Bring your Sharpie. Someone walk up and get his interview, people.
We'll do. Okay, I'll be ready.
That'll be the Easter egg.
All right, let's check in with Eric Aguilar. We haven't talked to him in a while, so we want to see what he's up to. And I already know. He's like I said before, he's busy. And then he sent me a text that was about 27 paragraphs of all the things he's doing. How you doing, buddy?
Yeah, pretty good.
Good.
I got to guest speak at a luncheon for self-advocates and special needs last week at the Redlands Community Center, where I started my career so many years ago. What I did basically was share my backstory and then share a little bit what I've been up to since COVID all the way to my present days.
So it was about a 3-hour conversation?
It was more like 5 minutes of screen time. And one
5
of the
minutes?
best cameo appearances I ever had.
You've done like 3 hours worth of stuff. Come on.
Right.
And I know you got a bunch of new things coming up. What's up? So let me ask you this first. Your career with the auxiliary, Coast Guard auxiliary, is that kind of coming to, or slowing down or coming to an end, or what are you doing?
It's kind of slow. It's kind of slowing down a little bit, but I got 6 more years until I'm able to decide whether I want to retire or stay after 15 years of service. But I'm getting a lot of good work done in the world of emergency preparedness and self-advocacy and people with disabilities.
I know you had some people offer or request your services to teach disaster preparedness. Who were those organizations?
Ever since the LA fires and the Santa Ana winds were happening at the same time, a lot of people have been asking me to teach emergency preparedness for them on Zoom for people with disabilities. And after hearing my testimony from last week's luncheon, even more people want me to teach for them, especially the San Bernardino County Museum.
Very nice.
Oh, cool.
And there was some other things too. I could go find the text, but there are some other things that you're getting involved with too, right?
Yes. Last year I got elected to be vice chair for the statewide self-advocacy network. And so for the next 2 years, I'll be the vice chair for both Regional Advisory Committee for State Council and the statewide self-advocacy network simultaneously. But next year, both terms will be coming to an end because I'll be then into my second season. And what I was thinking of doing after that was becoming Vice Flotilla Commander in the United States Coast Guard Auxiliary. Whenever one journey closes out, I'm always ready to start another.
Yeah.
Eric doesn't sit still, people. If you don't know this,
No.
Eric does not sit still.
No. Absolutely.
He doesn't sleep either, maybe.
And I can't have you on without asking about your bride-to-be, Amanda. How's she doing? And have you got a date yet? It seems like you were talking about it. It's coming down.
We're working on setting up a date, Doug, where it's coming pretty close. What we're really doing is planning, for what we're going to have to eat, how many people are coming. I've already put together my vows. I picked out my groomsmen, my best man. She's got her maid of honor and bridesmaid going.
Ah, you got a lot going on. So do you have it like narrowed down to a season? Is it going to be a spring wedding, June wedding?
It's going to be more like a beach theme wedding.
Ah, very nice. Which beach? Hawaii?
Ah, cool.
Waikiki?
Yeah, just normal beach. It's the theme.
Normal beach. So I'm here in Southern California.
Oh, yes.
Very nice. Very nice. All right. Well, we got to get back to the rest of the show, but wanted to catch up with you and see what you were up to. I knew you were busy, so I thought I'd let everybody hear it from your own mouth. All right?
Not at all. I always have time for Walk and Roll Live.
I love it.
Later,
Thank you.
Ready?
Thank you. Have
Take
a great
care.
day. We'll talk soon.
Bye now.
Oh, and one other thing on the Abilities Expo. I think I've mentioned it probably after last year. I was walking around the Abilities Expo. I think it was 2 years ago, but there was a booth, and they had all their signage and everything like a booth does at a convention like this. And there is my friend with his girlfriend in one of those, twice the size of life banners.
Okay.
I took a picture right then. They live in Florida.
Okay.
And I take a picture and send it to. Look who I just ran into. So,
Funny.
He goes, "Oh, I remember that day. They asked her to come out and do a photo shoot for something, and I was there, and they took some pictures with me too." And okay, small world, isn't it?
Yeah, right.
Yeah. All right, so that's coming up this week. There's a few other things. Go on the events page. I know Triumph has a few things coming up. The Angel City one just went by. But yeah, there's the other one is SoCal Sports, Adaptive Sports. They do a lot of stuff all the time. A lot of smaller events that kind of recur all the time. Triumph does too. So check out their websites, and there's something near you if you're in Southern California. And I'll say it again. I'll say it till I'm blue in the face. But anywhere you're listening to this is say you're in. Pick a state, Addie.
Good state, Mississippi.
Mississippi. There you go. If you're in a community in Mississippi and they have a rec department or some kind of organization that does adaptive sports or has programs and services for the disability community, and they've got an event coming up, fundraiser, whatever it is, let us know and we'll promote it here on Walk and Roll Live.
We will. And before we forget, kind of a quad, we're thinking of you.
Yeah.
Your big boo-boo. She broke her collarbone. Wow.
Exactly.
Like she says, she cannot fly, but kind of a quad. Get well soon.
That x-ray just blew my mind.
I know. Ow.
That was broken in 2 places, right?
Mm-hmm.
I can't really take that kind of stuff, so I kind of glanced, looked at it. Okay, I think I'm seeing what I'm seeing, and didn't go back. Yeah. So,
but kind of a quad. We're thinking of you.
Yeah,
we're sending Sparkle healing vibes.
Yeah, heal up quick. All right. So I think that's it. Next week, I'm not sure who we have next week, but we've come up with a strategy, ladies and gentlemen.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're going to start doing like 2 interviews a week, so we kind of stay ahead of it. And I'm not sure who's going to be on next week, but it'll be somebody. Trust me.
We got somebody, and it won't be us.
I have a real good idea, but I kind of feel like I've jinxed it when I've said who it is. So it'll be a surprise. How's that? All right. Have a wonderful, wonderful week. And we will see you next week here on Walk and Roll Live. Thanks for listening. I'm your host, Doug Vincent, with Addie Rich from the Aguiar Professional Training Studio. This has been Walk and Roll Live. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. Please, please, please. And don't forget, life limitless.
Roll life.